On my channel.
Yo, yiggity yo. What's up, y'all? Trio Pod.
Hey,
Hey.
we're here.
Guess who's
again.
Bizak?
Right.
What's the dealio? I'm Chrissy.
I'm Fallon,
I'm Mookie.
and this is the Trio Pod.
A collective of three friends.
Welcome.
How y'all doing?
Yeah, if you haven't been there, I'm feeling good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's
Yeah.
been a long week, and it's only the beginning of the
Tuesday.
week.
Yeah.
A long weekend. What y'all been doing? What's going on? Fill me in.
What has
It's like a
been
low key
going
our
on?
catch up time.
I know.
Everything will come out of the conversation because it's just been a long week, a long, stressful, just messed up week to say the least. It really has, and it's just one of those weeks where you have to remind yourself, okay, let's reset. Mm-hmm. And it's only what's today? Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's a Tuesday. So yeah, my whole weekend was just on a anxiety loop, like where you cannot sleep. It's just running. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was my week. Well, not all the way. We went to a concert.
We did.
Yeah.
To see
Lil Baby.
Dirk and Lil Baby, and
We missed Coyle Ray. She opened.
I didn't miss her.
I'm just saying, that's who opened.
Oh my God.
Excuse me.
I got that. Ooh.
She was there. I
She was there.
It was a-
She was on the lineup.
Right.
Scandalous.
Ooh.
I mean, I don't know what it's giving.
What about the, so who was this? It was Little Baby and
So
Dirk.
Coyle Ray, Dirk, Baby, but Dirk and Baby pretty much kind of bounced off of each other because he kind
Tag
of
team.
tag team, so
Right.
they kind of came out together. But I will say, I love seeing an artist live because
Right.
I can understand the artistry, what comes behind the artist.
Right.
And Baby showed the fuck up in LA.
Oh, okay.
In LA, which is crazy.
The energy was good.
Like the whole Staples Center was packed. Mm-hmm. It might have been a sold out show. I would say it probably was sold out or close to being
But
sold out.
they packed it out.
They packed it out.
Yeah.
And this is LA.
Well, Lil Baby is a major
He's a major
artist.
universal artist, to say the least. And me and Janice were talking about how like he got a certain fan base. You know,
So what's the
Lil
tea?
Baby got fans, okay, that look a certain way.
How they
because
look?
they was giving it up, okay, at the concert.
Was they dusty?
Well,
Not
no,
dusty.
no.
Like
No, they wasn't dusty. Excuse
I'm
me.
just playing.
it's been so long where I went to a concert where the fans really they love this artist.
No, the
Or
words.
not even love the artist, but I can tell they connect with the artist.
Yeah.
A lot of
Okay.
the concerts I've been to, and this is LA, so it's status.
Right.
I'm at so and so show.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm at the Beyonce show, and it's
Right.
a thing. You know.
Right.
Then the next day is everybody who was in the crowd,
Right.
who was there, who was backstage. It's a show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
These were fans.
These were fans, and it's been a while since I've been to a concert where they were predominantly black. Typically, it's the
Yep.
other way around. We're usually sprinkled.
It was a
in,
good
but
80% of blacks.
80 for sure.
They came out for Baby.
For sure.
Okay,
I was
baby.
like,
And they was
he got it.
They was turned out.
they was suited and booted.
Yeah,
in that
they were.
attire. All the D boys.
They look. They all. Look
They came out.
babyish.
The
They
chicks
look
had a
babyish.
certain look.
They all look baby.
They're like the trenches of
Their
Atlanta.
little chains. Yeah, they did. Yeah, it was just like, did they fly
was a
in?
look.
But
Did they fly in? To
They
see
look
them?
like
Right.
out of
What they may
towners.
have.
I've never seen this
They
pocket of
may have.
people.
Some of them could have
Especially if like the one in Atlanta was sold out
Like
probably
some
in 2
Vegas.
seconds.
They
would
probably
make
came
sense.
from like Lancaster,
Make a trip of
Vegas,
it.
Right.
You know, them
And
areas.
those are the fans you want, like that crowd. Like, we gonna
Absolutely.
come out, we gonna show you. It look like, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.
Girl,
Like, y'all spend
let me
money
tell
to
you,
get this
I
motherfucker.
don't give a damn if my fans are in Nebraska.
Right.
I don't care if my fans are in Montreal, wherever y'all at. That's where I will be. I don't,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it is dope to see like the faces of, and you'll be very surprised. You'll be very surprised, like looking at people's fan base or whatever. I'm always very interested to see that. So that's dope.
Yeah, but it was a dope show overall.
yeah,
like
yeah.
I fuck with trap music heavy. Well, he's my favorite new artist.
Mine's
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
He's my favorite new artist, so
he's the
it was turned.
perfect bridge gapper.
Yeah.
From our generation and the generation that's like right behind
agree.
us. So
Yeah.
he kind of does a good job of kind of like bridging that gap. Because some of them, child, I can't get into it. My baby put me onto somebody today.
I can't get into it. I couldn't get into Dirk. I don't understand nothing that's going on
Oh
with
my
him.
God, and I like him so
But
much.
Dirk?
No.
Oh.
His name is Wally the Sensei.
Who? Okay,
His
I
name
don't
is
know.
Wally the Sensei. He had
I'm not on
a
him
song
yet.
called Golden Child that is fire. That's the plus of having a young child to keep you young and keep me sharp or whatever. Because, girl, I'll be stuck on.
Tapped out.
Girl, who knows?
Luther and shit.
Who was it? And all that. Right, Luther. Exactly.
Girl,
Minnie Riperton and Denise
we don't know.
Williams.
We trying to get with it.
But Chris Brown ends up coming out,
yeah,
which was a nice treat.
Nikki,
Nikki, Roddy Ricch,
nice.
It was
I like that he brought out
LA.
Roddy. You do not come out to LA and don't bring out a hometown favorite. And Roddy did his two popular songs, and he showed up and showed out. And I like how they had the stage set up so him and Dirk were sitting down at the bottom and Roddy was at the top.
Okay.
And was just, doing his shit. Everybody knew, of course, it's LA, so of course we know Roddy shit.
I didn't know Roddy was there. I was like, all right, they gonna play two of his records?
Right.
Like, I just thought the crowd was crazy because it was a Roddy record.
But
when they played
you didn't see him.
And then if I looked, and Chris was like, that's dope, he up there. And I'm like, that's him? Like, I was so just zoned out.
Yeah, little thing.
But when Chris came out, the goddamn crowd of people, the way they erupted,
responded.
It was crazy.
And with Nikki,
I didn't recognize
Nikki either.
I didn't either.
You the one that said Nikki. I was like, who?
No, well, yeah. It was like, who is that? Yeah, it didn't ring a bell because I didn't know Nikki. I didn't know the record. When Chris came out, I knew the record, but I didn't know that he was on stage. But that nigga was,
sliding and gliding and shit.
Chris
was
Brown
sliding.
basically at this point is like a LA hometown favorite because he's lived here for the last, I would say, probably
his whole career. His whole career.
So he be with the Bloods and some old shit. So it goes like that. But
Chris Breezy. And I saw Sid. That was so amazing. Sid was dope, but she's so somber. Like, it was a whole. I could have sat there with my wine and fell asleep.
Girl,
it got any more slower. Vibe. But it was dope. It was a vibe. It was really a vibe, and her stage setup was dope. That's also one thing too. That's very captivating. When I'm going to concerts, is how they set up their stage.
Yeah, you kind of have to take it to the next level at this point. It's 2021 going into 22. We have to be visually stimulated. We're on our phones all day, and we have to kind of step up the bar. Like I always, I look at Janae, because that's somebody that I, aspire to. Just because Janae is so dope. Like, we both got daughters. Janae's a writer. She actually write her music or whatever. Our stories are actually very similar. But her stage or whatever, girl, she had palm trees, harps, incense. She got, you know what I'm saying? Like, she sets the whole, she brings you into her world.
Yes.
So it translates that way. And with the music to back it or whatever, it becomes like an experience. So I think all artists are kind of tapping into that vibe. You can't, unless it's like you want to up and come in and you don't really have the resources. But, you can still be creative in that in that
regard. Yeah. That's fire.
Yeah. Well, shout out to all the artists or the artists. People be saying artists. It's not artists. For people that be saying artists with an S at the end, it's not artists. It's artists.
Artists, period.
Right. Just a little tidbit for the day.
Oh, well.
That's that.
Missed that, right. Well, we do have some topics.
We got some topics today, y'all.
On a serious note.
Kind of serious, can be, but I think
it's something that I really want to talk about because I think it's something that we all experience that we don't talk enough about.
Absolutely.
Especially as we're black women, so maybe enough black women or black culture don't speak about it.
Right.
Maybe a lot of people don't know what it is or know how to recognize it, and the topic obviously is anxiety. Mm-hmm. And I actually, earlier today when I mentioned I wanted to speak on it, I actually kind of went back and to my own, my past and just kind of did some, like I was looking up like my call logs and my medical bills on how many times I've actually been hospitalized or called the ambulance behind anxiety. So I actually, it was crazy because just in 2018 alone, I called the ambulance 12 times behind anxiety.
Yeah.
So, and a few times I've actually gone to like the emergency room. So I've only gone 3 times, like physically gone in and been admitted. And of course they recommend like Valium and stuff like that. They diagnose, okay, you have anxiety and they try to give you a Valium. But they don't take any further steps. Like I haven't come across a situation yet when they really trying to analyze like, okay, so what's wrong with you?
Right.
Are you having any issues? Or,
like
are you upset? Are you upset? Is something bothering you? Are you having any relationship issues? Are you not sleeping? Are you not eating properly? So when I went to, actually my therapist helped break down that I have environmental anxiety. And basically what she says that I'm triggered by my environment. I could be triggered. I could be driving in a car and somebody could be roll up next to me with their windows tinted and I could think somebody's about to shoot me. And that could be a trigger. Or it could be, me prepping to go into work and I know I'm already thinking about how my day is going to go. And now I have anxiety stepping into work because I know everything. I'm thinking about everything that possibly can go wrong in my work day or in my workspace.
Right.
So I'm just triggered by my environment.
Right.
I could be anywhere. I could be in the grocery store. The line's too long. I have anxiety. Like, fuck. Like, I'm just thinking, like, oh my God, like, why is the line so long? Why? Like, relax. You know, I'm automatically kind of rushing myself and stressed out because the line is too long. So that was kind of pretty much my diagnosis. And I kind of did some more further research, and I started tapping into, okay, let me be more aware.
Right.
And, you know, present when I'm experiencing these things. And, you know, it's simply just by, like, affirmations. And no, it's so cliche. It sounds very cliche, but it's simply as affirmations, telling yourself, like, okay, you're fine. You're safe. Breathe. Like, when I feel my heart racing and pumping out of my chest, breathe. Take deep breaths. Slow down. Stop. Put the phone down. And that's another thing, too, how you know you have anxiety. If you keep scrolling through your phone, you're looking for something on your phone, you're trying to call, you're trying to text somebody, that's another sign of a trigger or having anxiety or trying to find yourself coping through that. It's like, put the phone down and be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
So you can help yourself through that, you know. And I know, Janice, you've experienced it too, because we've kind of been going through it together. We some situations we've gone through together. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm joking.
But no, I know you've helped me through certain situations because I know you experienced it.
Yeah. Anxiety is one of those things that you can't really explain it when you feel it. There's not a word to say, hey, this is how it feels when you have anxiety. At least in my experience. It's nothing that I can describe to someone else. It's like, I don't know. I feel anxious. I feel sad. I feel worried. I feel a multitude of emotions at one time, and I don't know why. I don't know what triggered me. I was fine, and now all of a sudden I'm worried about something, and I don't know what it is.
Exactly.
You know? For me, the first time I experienced anxiety was 2012. And I've just pretty much learned to manage it since then, but it still pops in and out. And at that time when I was experiencing it, I literally didn't know what was going on. I think it was just subconsciously I was just stressing about the lack of progress that I was making, but I didn't correlate the two. I was just trying to figure out what could this be? Why do I feel this way? It was to the point I really couldn't drive. My foot is shaking. Certain music was triggering. I love this Melanie Fiona record. I can't think of it, but she say something like finger on the trigger, let me bang bang something. But it's a love song, which is weird.
It's a trigger
but I'm like,
you.
oh, I can't hear this. Like anything with death, die. Like it was just like, oh my God, can't do it. And then at that time, like people were taking like Xanax, like crazy. It was like the thing, and I'm like, I'm good. Like I would hear how people get addicted to it. You hear it's the human tranquilizer. You hear so many different things, and I'm like, I want to do this the natural route. It took a long time to manage it, trying to do it that way. But I would suggest, like, if you need the prescription pill, take it. You know, I'm not a pill pusher, but it's really hard trying to do it based on just what people say by relaxing. Like, I did it all. The spa bath, the spiritual bath, like I've done it all. I burned my skin with icy hot trying to, I look dirty, but it was literally, no, you burned your skin with so much icy hot because you're having all these chest pains and you can't locate where the pain is coming from.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Stress lotions, oils, like you name it, I've done it, you know?
Right.
And I've only been able to manage it, you know what I mean? And because once it gets to the point where it bubbles, it's a wrap. Some people say, oh, smoke. Nope. At that time, like I would roll up, but I could not smoke. Like I would smoke and be so true. It was the reset on the weed. Like now I'm in panic mode because when you, like for the people who first hit a blunt the very first time, you will panic out. Like
you will.
You're too nervous. You can't relax. And then once you get over that, you could chill. But it takes time. And it took me back to that moment. I'm like, this isn't for me. Like I can't do it. So honestly. This was pre-therapy. This was 2012. You know what I mean? So, I just did it I just took the long route. Of course, me now will handle it a lot different, but that was just, you know, obviously me first experiencing it.
Yeah. Well, it's I will say that we are very blessed to have the resources that we have now opposed to what our parents had access to, their parents had access to. Each generation, I think we're shedding more and more layers of trauma. And we're finding different ways to cope because we're tired of being depressed. We're tired of being anxious. We're tired of being sick physically. We're tired of, all of the things that our forefathers and ancestors or whatever have like withstood, like maybe by force or maybe unnecessarily just by not having the knowledge and the information. So I will preface it with that. But there's so many different variations of anxiety that I didn't know about. Like you talked about environmental. I don't know if you were ever clinically diagnosed or, you know, felt connected to one or the other, but there's so many different variations. And I know I've definitely experienced social anxiety. And my social anxiety would get pretty bad. And it's so funny. This is something that I've diagnosed myself too, by the way, because what would happen was I would be in situations with people that I don't know. This would happen at work because I work in property management. So you meet new clients that you want to lease space to. You have to meet new people all the time, every single day. And I had to take over for something that I wasn't super knowledgeable about. But even just the interfacing of basic interaction was like weird for me, you know, and I would get heart palpitations, all of the things, sweaty palms, shaky hands, and, you know, all of those kind of things. And it still, you know, does happen. But at that time, I was like, okay, I need to go see somebody and kind of see if there's something really going on here. Is this all in my head? And I will regrettably say when I actually did go to the doctor to get some information, I was somewhat dismissed because the case wasn't so severe.
Wow.
You can still go to work. You can still function. You can still, you know, if you couldn't go to work and you was, you know, basically hauled up in your house and didn't want to leave or whatever, then we would go ahead and maybe take the next steps. But I basically felt dismissed. And it was very interesting to me because I definitely know there have been accounts of women, Black women, women of color, but Black women that we don't get the same level of empathy as it pertains to any kind of health conditions, whether that be physical or mental. And they feel like we are built to just absorb all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And when it should be the opposite because we're the ones that have the weight of everything on this. So it should be even more empathy that is involved. I did not feel supported. I didn't feel... And this was a couple of people that I saw. And they tried to prescribe me medicine too without even, you know, kind of really talking through it with me. It was really kind of like... You know, and it kind of puts you in a place like, okay, so I'm just stuck with this. You know what I'm saying? And really, too, I'll just say, too, when we can kind of spread it out to some other areas, I'll say that I feel personally in dealing with anxiety, and this is just my opinion, and this is just how I deal with everything, is I'm always I want to get to the root of the thing. So I'm a layered pillar. Like, I want to get to what is the real issue? What I found for me after doing, you know, months and years of self-reflection, getting in the mirror, really trying to talk to myself, stripping everything off. Nobody else is around. It's just me. It's no need to be scared or to feel any type of, you know, weird vibes as far as that. I had a perfectionist complex. So me being around people that I didn't know, maybe I felt like they would see the fact that I have flaws.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, you know, getting in these, for people that know me, I don't care because y'all know me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to put on for anybody else that I know and I love and I've let into my circle, which is this small. Right. But everybody outside of that, which is practically the whole world, you know what I mean? It would kind of feel like, okay, I have to put on or I have to be this person. So it really took me time to figure that part out and start doing work on that. So there's always, to me, I feel like an epicenter to what it is that's triggering you mentally and allowing which causes, you know, your body to react in a certain way. There's a epicenter to that. And you really have to start figuring out, you know, what it is. Because it's always something that's triggering. It could be a relationship. It could be, you know, work. It could be family, kids. It could be past trauma. People are dealing with things that they dealt with in their childhood that have never been unpacked. You know what I'm saying? That you almost sometimes forget about until you go like, damn, did that really happen? I watched something and somebody had to ask somebody had to call their sibling and was like, it was Pat, the comedian Pat. She's been going crazy everywhere. She had to call her sister and say, do you remember so-and-so, you know, touching her? Did that really happen? She said, yeah, it did. She was like, all right. Because once certain things happen to you that are so traumatic, you compartmentalize and put it in a box, and because you can't carry that around with you every day because you can't function. If I'm thinking about that at the front of my frontal lobe every single day, how am I going to get up and go to work every day and interface in the world? Like, it's so many layers. So my advice, just, you know, when you get more into the conversation, is try to, you know, figure out what the epicenter is to whatever, you know, reactions you may be having mentally or physically.
Yeah, that's so important.
Yeah.
Is taking that time to yourself and asking myself, like, what is the root of the issue?
Right.
Like, what's causing me to react this way?
Right.
And if it's a relationship, and I know it's easier said than done, it's a process. This shit is not going to happen overnight.
No.
If you know that your boyfriend is triggering your anxiety every day, that's probably a situation that you know you need to step away from. You
Right.
got to figure it out.
Right.
If your job is triggering your anxiety every single day, if you go into work every single day and your palms are sweaty, you have palpitations, you can't breathe, you got to go in the bathroom and take a breather, you need to step away from that job.
I had to do other things.
It's because that shit, and I know it's easier said than done, but it is a process.
Like,
and so many people have gone through it and continue and have been hospitalized behind it.
Yeah,
like it can really kill you. Sorry, Mookie, you want to say something? Pour up today.
Being stressed is like let's not normalize that. That's not normal.
Yeah,
because then we get into high blood pressure. It goes so many different ways.
Even low blood pressure.
I mean, high, low,
Yeah.
like it affects the body. We release hormones, all type of things. Like it's deeper than that. And I know we're just starting to get into anxiety. Mental health it's become more of a hot topic. It's a growing profession. Monies are starting to be, put back into this particular lane because people are starting to identify with these things. So
right.
You're absolutely right. Like sometimes you don't know what triggered me. You do look up and you're just upset. And some people have been stressed for so long they don't even know what it feels like to be at peace, or when things are normal, when things are just steady, when things are in place. And it's not the absolute easiest, but you can ask yourself, like for me, I'll get up, like I pray every day, but it's a certain prayer I do when I'm sick and tired. Like I used to have to literally pray to get through the day at work. And I know that's when I'm over something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for others, it's like you get up, you pray, let me get through the day. You get to work and it's some BS. I have a short example. So Thursday, a gentleman hit my car, right? He rear-ended me, messed up the passenger rear side of my car, the lights, all that stuff. He hops out the car and he walk up to me, approach me like I'm a man, like really like fist ball, chest poked out, like gang banging for real. So I get in my car, like I'm not even programmed to grab my phone to record. So I'm almost astonished how people are so quick to record. Because my attitude was like, nah, we're leaving. Fuck all of this. So anyway. So
right.
Before that happened, actually, like I've been trying to balance school and work, like full-time school, full-time work is really, really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hard. So I'm like, I need to get organized. So coming from getting some things to get organized, and he hit me. That sent me on a full anxiety loop where I could not rest. When I with KP, it was cool. I went back home and it was back to normal. Like for me, that's how my anxiety works. As long as I'm in a social setting, I can be fine. When you put me by myself, when it's me and the four walls, it hit totally different. Like the thoughts are going and I'm like shaking. I can't turn it off. I feel sad. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I feel like my thoughts are outside my head at this point. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's only because he hit me. He hit my car. And today I had to do a reset. Like, it's just a car. You have insurance. You're covered. You did everything you needed to do.
Right.
You're still alive. You're not in hospital. I had to really flip the perspective and like really reset the intention. But that was just today.
Right.
Tuesday. So Monday, I go into work with all the accident, the car, the shit on loop, claims people don't work over the weekend. I had to go find red tape to tape up a light, like all this weirdo type shit. I get to work. The last thing I'm thinking about is a mask. I get upstairs I go upstairs to go to my office. I'm like, fuck my mask. What's the first thing somebody say to me who ain't even said good morning? Man, you need to put another guy, black. You need to put on your mask.
Good morning.
None of that.
Like, good morning.
Oh,
None of that.
girl.
None of that. The first thing he say is, you need to put on your mask. You're not in your private office and all this other shit. Girl. And all I could say to him was, my hands are full. That's all I could say. I had a bag, a bowl, like shit in my hand. He goes tell my super. My
you
hands
can help
are full.
with that though.
Trying to get right.
Can you help me? Like, yo, rude ass.
But that's all he say. But it's
my
like,
gosh,
that's why it's like it's so important to show grace, because you never know what anybody dealing with at any given time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like if it's 8:31 in the morning and you're telling me to put on a mask, hush, please. And then he goes and say, if it happened, he gonna get the police to escort me out the building.
No, he did not.
Yes, he took it there.
No, he did not.
He took it there.
No.
And it's just kind of like, that would have like sent me, that would have sent one person completely the fuck over. You know what I mean? So
me?
I'm dealing with all, all that.
Not spraying that thing up.
Like what?
Spraying it up.
What? What?
He didn't say that to me directly, but it came from the higher ups. Like, that just, you know.
Right.
It's 8:31 in the morning, bro. Like, I got upstairs. I'm thinking about my car. I'm thinking about everything but a mask. That's in my bag. But I got all this shit in my hand, and you talking shit about a mask right now?
And he could have asked you if you had one, do you need help? Like,
he could have just been like,
he could have rephrased it. The way he said it, he could have been said differently.
He could have just said, "Oh, good morning. Like, I remember your mask."
Yeah,
that's it.
It's all in how you say it.
It's all about the delivery. But I said all that to say, like, my anxiety was just spiraling. I didn't know how to calm down. I'm literally in my bed shaking, don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Until I had to go and have a shift of my perspective of how I view my situation, because sometimes it's that simple, other times it's not. And I know people are dealing with a mountain of things where they can't just simplify it. You know what I mean? And I had to remind myself, like, just simplify it, do what you can, take it a day at a time. And it's always cliche until it makes sense. And some people are really stressed because they literally just don't have no one to talk to. Sometimes you just build so much shit up. It's really just about venting. Like, write that shit down, or have a buddy and call them and talk if you have that. If not, hit one of us. You know, hey,
please, because
this shit gets real, it gets really heavy. You start to feel like your spirit not in alignment. You know what I mean? Like, it weighs differently. You move differently. It's just, I don't like being in that space, because it's almost like a not a double-edged sword, but it's a snowball effect. Anxiety is a slippery slope into depression, and when you get to depression, that's a slippery slope into other negative thoughts.
Absolutely.
And then you start feeding yourself bullshit, then you're ingesting that. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want. There's a lot of negativity around us, so when you feed yourself that, it's deadly. No pun intended.
Real quick, there's this page that I follow that I really like. It's on Instagram as DLC Anxiety. And they have some very, very just non-cliche facts about anxiety. It's just not your typical shit that they provide. And there's this one particular post that I like. And I'm gonna break it down as far as the facts. It's things that people with anxiety wish other people knew. So there's some things that I'm just gonna kind of read off real quick that I love. The first thing is, that's documented here, is that we don't always know our triggers. So when you ask, why are you so anxious? The answer may actually be, I truly don't know. The second one is, anxiety makes us worry a lot. So saying don't worry is very unhelpful. Okay, like, don't worry, that's not helping me.
That's a thought, like, shut up.
We want to decrease the amount we worry, and trust me, we're trying. The physical symptoms of anxiety feel very real. It's hard to deal with the stomach issues, heart palpitations, dizziness, and still go on as normal.
Heart palpitations, she just mean your heart is racing fast.
Exactly. And I used to feel like I was having a heart attack. I'm like, you're not having a heart attack, but you think
I think I told Mookie that, sorry to cut you off, it was one time, because I had never experienced, because in those social interactions, I wouldn't, it wouldn't be as severe. Most of my stuff was just shaking. I would just be very, very shaky. That was one of the things that would happen to me. But it was one time in particular that I really feel like. But I smoked.
Does that help?
No.
Oh.
No. It was worse. I was recording or whatever. I was about to record or whatever, and it's like, and that's the thing too. It's like you feel like, oh, I'm in the vibe. Everybody's, first of all, I'm not a rapper, so people got to start, remembering that too. When I record my shit, I be alone. It be dolo. I might have Yuri in the studio with me. It's not the typical environment you would think of somebody, being in the studio with the people around. It's not that. All that. But when you record with rappers, that's the vibe that they have. So I might, try to smoke to try to just, see if it helped the vibe or whatever. Girl, I had a full on panic attack so much so I had to step outside. I was crying. I was so overwhelmed. After it was all over, I was completely exhausted. I felt like I had ran a marathon. And I had never felt nothing like that before.
So tired. Yes.
So like you said, there's no feeling, there's no word for that. It was like I got hit by. It was,
Yep.
I was exhausted.
No,
I was so drained.
Because you really don't know what it. You can't really explain it. And like you said, most people say relax or try to take your mind off. Blah 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 blah. And
I had somebody tell me go drink some water. I wanted to be like, bitch,
go drink some water.
Go drink some water.
It's like you literally can't. You know what I mean? Like, for me, it really did not work. I mean, from bath time to sleepy time tea, like, those things helped because it really, that really relaxed me, no pun intended. Like, the bath pillows, the putting the candle. I remember I was taking a yoga class, and one of the things we had to learn was look at the candle flame and not think. Like, let your mind, and that's
meditate a little bit.
That's the hard. Don't let no thoughts enter. You ever turn your mind off? It's almost impossible.
It's impossible. It's supposed to be. But that's easier said than done.
Right? Because you still.
But that's why they say let your thoughts flow. Like,
wherever they go.
Whatever you're thinking, just allow it to flow. Just be present. Be present of what you're thinking and just allow them to flow. Whichever way they go.
Until they start racing and you back to where you started. And it's like, oh my God, why am I worrying?
It's a process. It's a process. Okay, so there's a couple of more. Another one that says, we experience heightened senses at times. This means, yes, comfortable clothing, dim lighting, and soft sounds are actually very helpful. When we talk about our experience, we aren't being dramatic. This is how bad it really can feel, which is true. People with anxiety are capable and strong. We don't want to be perceived as weak, and that can hold us back from talking about our anxiety. Anxiety creates many weird symptoms. When someone says it's all in your head, it can feel dismissive. Anxiety has the ability to impact the body. We want to feel better. We are trying our best, and we appreciate you supporting us through it. So that's pretty much like, I really, really like, that side of it. And there's another one too that I thought was pretty dope.
Have to maybe find that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely just send y'all. I'm gonna share these, and I'll also in the description I can actually drop the IG page. But it's just a lot of things about anxiety on here. Another one I'll just go through and I'll wrap this up is symptoms of anxiety we don't talk about enough. Getting physically sick, like stomach issues, IBS, and vomiting. Physical pain in your chest, back, arms, and legs. Like, for me, my chest gets tight and I feel like an elephant is sitting on my chest. So I really think, like, okay, that's why I think I'm having a heart attack, because my left side may go numb.
And you trigger those things with your mind.
Yes.
How people can make themselves sick.
Exactly.
A heartbreak will feel like the flu if you allow it to.
Absolutely.
You can physically make yourself
be affected.
sick.
Yeah, for sure.
Sleeping patterns, sleeping patterns that are so irregular, you are constantly exhausted. Inconsistent body temperature, you can run really hot or you can run really cold given it any day. And if you have just chills and you're actually not even, I even experienced having chills but not having the actual goosebumps. So it's like an internal chill.
Right.
Like, my body feels cold, but I'm like, I have not one goosebump.
Right.
So that's another symptom that I've experienced when I've had anxiety. Feeling so on edge that you question your own sanity. Like, what the fuck is going on with myself? Like, what am I going through? Like, what is wrong with me?
Right.
Uncontrollable shaking and jitterness, which we kind of all experience.
Absolutely.
And a generally higher resting heart rate. Constant light-headed feeling, like when you feel very dizzy or you're going to pass out.
Yeah.
That's because you can't breathe, because you're not breathing right.
You're not breathing. That's why it's very important. And again, it sounds very cliche, but you have got to take deep breaths.
It doesn't sound cliche. Learn belly breathing. That's a really good thing to do as well. And letting it all the way out, all the way.
And it was crazy for me. I feel like that was the worst anxiety I could have. Like, well, I can't have something where I can be at home, where I can deal with it at home. Like, social anxiety. I'm trying to be an artist. Most artists have anxiety. Most creatives have anxiety.
Yeah.
And when you get them in a room or whatever around other people, they freak the F out.
Who was that they were talking about? Not to cut you off, but there was an artist. Was it SZA or it was a female artist?
Oh, Summer Walker. Yeah.
And they were talking about her so bad. I don't know if she was at an award show or something transpired.
Which was very difficult at that time, I believe, too, because people are like, okay, well, don't do it then. Or, you know what comes with this and da-da-da-da-da. I don't think people maybe just have been that favorable of Summer Walker in general. So maybe they just didn't give her a lot of grace in a past, because she was kind of talking kind of spicy at certain points in time. So it's kind of like, girl. But it's a real thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you do have that kind of social anxiety, Janae talked about that too. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's by the time you get off that stage, let's say you got, on a small scale, let's say you got 3,000 to 5,000 people that you're performing to, pulling from you.
Yeah.
Because they need that energy. This is all unseen energy or whatever that's being transferred between you and these people. And of course, they're giving it back to you. But by the time you step off the stage, you are drained.
You're drained.
You know what I'm saying? Meeting with people, talking with people that you don't know, and talking about your life, and then being, super intrusive. And now we got social media. It's a lot.
You're in the limelight.
It's like one of the worst ones.
You're in the limelight.
That
life
crazy.
is different.
It's crazy.
That life is different. Always been on the forefront.
Yeah.
People in your business, people talking about you. Like, Lizzo's breakdown is real.
Listen.
Like, I'm not even mad at that, because I'm sick and fucking tired. And I'm sure a lot of them, if they didn't have to have social media, they wouldn't. Because, you know, I know it's all about the branding and, you know, helping with your marketing and all that, but I know a lot of them probably wouldn't because you guys are too much in my business.
I mean, tech
I don't think so.
You're too much in my business.
Tech ruined
Very
the mystique
judgmental.
of it
Y'all
all.
always got something to say about something.
Right. And they feel like, sorry to cut you off, movie, I'll let you, but it's because people feel like, that's the trade-off that you get for getting that bag, being a celebrity, being on the stage. Because a lot of people want to live that life. A lot of people want that life, so people feel like that's the trade-off. And a lot of the times, or whatever, it can be considered a trade-off for show business. It's a business. That's a part of like show business. Just like if you work as a firefighter, it's a risk that you may be burnt the hell up. You know what I'm saying? It's just a risk that you want. Everything has its things. But what you about to say, Moot?
I just said tech ruined the mystique of the artist.
Yeah.
Because, and of course we have the evolution of time and all that stuff, but now it's like every fan has a loud voice. You know what I mean? And that can be harsh because at the end of the day, like they're still human.
Yeah.
They still see these things. It's not filtered through the fan club anymore. You know what I mean? Like we don't just see them doing red carpet and press
and the promo, right?
And the promo run, and you know we may get like a little article of them at the beach and a little bit of cellulite or something, or they lost weight,
and
or
tabloids,
a little tabloid fodder. You know what I mean? It's like every opinion about them, they're ripped to shreds. Like at every move, they can't even.
Can you imagine?
Try to be versatile, experience new music, like different sounds. Like they can't do anything because the voice of the people is so loud, and I feel like it just kind of killed the mystique of the artist.
What
like,
about
I don't know who's the last one. I don't know who's the last artist to kind of not
be front line.
Who's applying old Hollywood, because now these are new rules. It seems like
hopefully it go back, or at least we can kind of like balance the equilibrium. The only people that can afford to do that are the ones that are major household names, and even they still. I mean, if Beyonce got an Instagram. Girl, don't try it. Go ahead and get down with the get down and get in where you fit in. If Beyonce got an Instagram, baby, you gotta have an Instagram.
Well, I think it's like you said, it's a lot of the old, like when you think about certain, I mean, these are old actors like a Denzel Washington,
Eddie Murphy.
Will Smith just got on Instagram maybe like a year. He's fresh on the
like,
gram.
That's literally Mr. 4th of July, and the internet barely respects him.
Right.
Like, y'all don't like. It was a thing to see them walk into their movie premieres, like that from that red carpet. Like that was
respect.
A thing.
Yeah, because they were actually talented.
Not anymore. Right. We had talent to lean. We had so much talent to lean on. Now it's just like I don't know.
Ooh, no shade.
Right? No shade, no tea.
Anyway, it was something else that we wanted to talk about. Well, I feel like we can go all the way in on mental. One more thing about mental health, unless you guys have something else to say, was one more thing. What do you guys think about the people that say you just overreacting? Like people just got soft nowadays. You know what I'm saying? People just don't know how to deal with issues. People just don't know how to interface through life. You know, with their chin up. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that take that stance and feel like toughen up. That's the energy.
But those are the people that don't know how to deal with their own issues.
I was going to say
closet anxiety.
That's a huge insecurity.
And you heard that, right?
That's a red flag.
I hear that often.
I was going to say,
and those are the people with the biggest issues, huh?
I was going to say both things could be true.
Yeah.
Like that is true. I do think some people
lean on it,
use it as an scapegoat because it's hard to combat. It's almost like dating a person with a kid and say I can't because it's something that involves their child. Right. Even if they're lying, you can't combat that and say bullshit. You're gonna choose your kid? Like, how dare you choose your mental health? You know what I mean? So I definitely think some people use it to their advantage a little bit.
Right.
They use it as some sort of a cop out. People do it all the time in the workplace. Like, I just need to get it.
I need a mental health day.
Right.
But not on the real though. But
right.
like
using it as an excuse.
No, not even a day. Like, I'm going to take a leave of absence because I'm stressed and
for sure
be doing whatever the fuck they want to do.
Right.
And I'm talking about people because you know people who do that because you go to
going to CPK.
I need to
2 p.m. with your cousins and all
happy hours and shit.
Right. Like
no,
people,
bitch, be at home.
Some people abuse that part of it. So I definitely think both things could be true. Some people get caught in hot water and it's just like, I'm human, we make mistakes, I would just experience so much blah, 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 blah. It's almost like the artists when they go to the hospital, dehydration, that was like the number one thing. Like, no, that's cocaine. You know what I mean? Like, big difference. But at the same time, we definitely know that, and that's not to make light of mental illness. I mean,
that's
mental health, but that's just to go with what I'm saying.
It's bandwagon-ish. Just like with everything, just with everything else. like, oh, everybody driving these, everybody saying this, everybody doing this. Oh, I got this in me too. Like,
absolutely. Protect the Black woman is bandwagonish as well. Like, really, y'all. That's why I like to say Black women are not marketing tools, because it's like, y'all, Black is the going thing right now. Especially a Black woman is the buzzword for so many people. And I'm like, we're people. We're not just marketing tools. Like, don't do that fucking what's that shit called? Oh, I can't even think of the word when people are just it's a certain type of activism, but what's the word? It's gonna come to me later.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was the only other tidbit. But if you guys have stories of anxiety, if you have a different variation of anxiety that we haven't mentioned, please drop it in the comments or hit us up on our IG. Is at _TrioPod or at
TrioPod _.
Okay, so at TrioPod _ on IG, and DM us and tell us about it. Like, we'll, even just let us know. We're curious to know. We would love to kind of continue the conversation on another episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, that was deep.
That's why we need music. That's why on other podcasts, we won't mention them here, they used to have a song that they would play to lighten the mood. We need a song too. It would probably be, we probably have a turn up song like, go girl, it's your birthday, go Dina, it's your birthday, oh, go. Can somebody have a booty backyard boot? Well, they don't have to be in the backyard. I don't want to be in the backyard. I take that back. Like a booty jam.
Yeah.
Like a booty jam.
Picnic or something.
I found the word. Performative. Thank you.
Performative.
Activism. It's just when you're just putting on, I'd rather you not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the whole Black women. No, don't be performative with us. No.
Okay, got you. Performative anxiety?
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Basically, right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had
to get that.
Had to go there.
Had to get that off. Don't just care for the moment.
Right. No, for sure. Yes. Man.
Mookie had a topic.
So we had one last topic we wanted to tap into. That was so important.
I was trying to give us a beat for our transitional music. So yes, story time.
Okay.
So it's so interesting that we pretty much our opening topic was anxiety. And I'm not so much going back, but I'm going back to a place when I had anxiety the most. And at this time, when I had anxiety, but after I had anxiety, I was developing a concept called Life in the Gray Area. And it wasn't so much a podcast, but an audio diary. The episodes were titled Pages, like page 1, page 2. It was a solo bolo, maybe 15, 20 minute little quick show, 10, 15 minutes rather.
Right.
And I wanted to discuss how I got through it, bring on other people how they get through it, tips to move past it, and just a little bit of information, just some quick, soft information, right? So that developed into another concept because at that same time I was in a relationship where I felt like I was completely voiceless, right? And so that concept changed from Life in the Gray Area to Speak Sis. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just talk about finding your voice in a relationship and have the same concept, like an audio diary, like the shit that women really go through, rather most likely is secretly, like the things you don't really even tell your friends, but what you feel, feeling yourself basically.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is a concept that I just set on because most of the time I overthink every other idea that I have, and I become the person with the million ideas and running, so to speak, So I put it on paper and put it aside, and then I took this class, and it was like it was called we read a book called Chasing the Lion. Obviously the lion is your goals and shit, right? So I had to basically take this concept and execute it. I did just that. Sort of. So I did the recordings, but I was still super apprehensive. So I made the social channels, and fast forward, I go on to Clubhouse. At the time Clubhouse was, for those who don't know it, years, last year Clubhouse was this bigger than life.
The pandemic,
Right. It was this bigger than life, ultra resourceful platform where you can go and you're in rooms with people that it probably would have taken me the next 10 years to get to.
Yeah. Right.
If they, God willing, they'll still be alive. But for sure, know. So I can't think of the title of this room in particular, but I remember telling him this exact concept of Speak Sis and the why and the end goal, really gave the blueprint in its fullness. You know what I mean? Because they were supposed to give you tips. They were, credible all that shit. So to make this long story less long, the same exact concept that I gave to, that I created out of my own shit and developed enough to take it to, and speak about it on Clubhouse just to get feedback, is now on a major network titled Speak Sis, right? So I just didn't think it was a coincidence, because I'm like, this is the exact formula. This is the DNA of everything that I said, the platform, the discussion. And
that's crazy.
When you get into like finding your voice, it's only so much you can discuss. It seems like it will be one and the same.
Yeah.
Amplify your voice, finding your voice. Like, there was a lot of things that was similar. So like other creators, I left a comment. And I was just explaining what I just explained to you guys. And I was greeted with this lady, I believe her name is Angel, and was like, well, I own Speak Up Sis, and I have for 3 years, and blah, 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 blah. So, you know.
So there was somebody else that wasn't affiliated with that, but has something similar.
She had Speak Up Sis, and
she said, Speak Up Sis.
Right. So I wrote back and was like, okay, well, I've never heard of you or your content. Right. However, I've developed this and I shared that. And I'm like, I had to will myself back in, because after that, I have to go look her up and look into her shit. And she really did have Speak Up Sis. Her name's
credible.
Angel. Yeah. She has an amazing platform.
Well, shout out to Angel.
Yeah.
She really does.
Black Girls Rock.
I ended up DMing her because I had to read over my text that I sent her, and I felt kind of bad. Like, bitch, God, I haven't heard of you nor your content. Like, you didn't have to open it up that way.
Right.
You know, she's, you know.
But you felt a little type of way based off of the whole experience as a whole. Who can I trust?
Right. So I found her. I apologized, and it's really nice. She has Speak Up Sis, LLC.
That's boss of you.
Then she has a Speak Sis podcast, and out of her podcast, she has Speak Up Sis bookshelf. So the things that she discussed on her show is very similar. It's a lot of similarities. It's just women sharing their experiences in a nutshell. So mine was a little different. Her demo, a lot different. It's some differences there, similarities, but whatever.
Right.
So, so like I said, she has her LLC herself, then her podcast and the bookshelf. So, for what she discussed, there's books, and hers is a little bit more of a little faith-based background.
Okay,
but it's still dope. I just think having books to kind of go along with how you feeling is really nice, opposed to like, that's just a dope product, you know. So kudos to you, Angel. You guys should definitely look her up. She was really friendly. She followed me back, and we just had like a lovely discourse about like just the whole thing. And I can definitely see if and why they will be inspired by her, because while I saw my vision, I definitely saw her media kit and colors on that show, like everything. So protect yourself, young creators, new creators, micro creators. Get your paperwork in order, because now what she's fighting against is the fact that she has Speak Up Sis but not Speak Sis. So I don't know if that means they're entitled to use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's fucked up. And in my earlier work, like, I didn't even look her up. I just knew Speak Sis was it. Like, I have a ring that says Speak Sis. I had the bamboos. I have the fucking artwork that says Speak Sis. Like, this was it for what I wanted to do.
Right.
But I did tell her, like, you know, I hope that, like, she put money and time. You know what I mean? It's the little people that always get crushed at the end of the day.
Right.
You know, so I would say to people, sorry for this long story, but
it's important though.
Really, like, protect yourself. Like, don't even put your concept out if you don't own your domains, your names.
That's
like,
right
all
there.
of that shit is really, really important. Like, I mean, legally
get the business handle first and then push the brand.
Own your stuff, because people do shit for a hobby. Like, people will see something fly and buy that domain. Like, I was trying to buy Speak Sis, and they was charging me, not Speak Sis, Relax Me, and they was charging me $10,000. I was like, 10 grand for this? Like, okay, bet. Like, all right, so we're gonna go with Shop Relax Me instead.
I mean,
.com, and I bought that. But
okay,
have your ducks in a row.
Intellectual property is real. You have to protect that with your life. That is definitely a good tip, because that was gonna be the thing that I say. I don't feel like you should really be talking about nothing till it's already out and done.
Exactly.
I'm not a fan of putting stuff out because people steal.
Or just into the atmosphere like, hey, coming soon.
And you don't feel like nobody gonna steal it because like, why somebody want to steal my idea? What? They be having all these big board meetings at these long tables or whatever, all these powwows and brainstorms and think pod situations or whatever where everybody's supposed to be throwing in ideas or whatever. People be dry, especially if you're not tapped into the culture. Yeah. Think tanks. And people not tapped into the culture, or you're not tapped into whatever industry or whatever you're trying to, you need to always protect yourself. Absolutely. You might as well not put it out until it's out and until you actually have something tangible. And then that's also something that you can, you know,
and if you
take to court if need be or whatever.
At least if anything, if I understand like the LLCs and a lot of that stuff is very costly, but at least get to buy your domain.
If you buy your domain, get a DBA. Yeah. That's just a quick printout and notarized. And at the very least, you can do that.
Yeah.
Right.
And LLCs do cost. They can cost up to, $600 plus, but just protect yourself. It's not just
even trademarking is expensive, but it's worth it.
Right. Like, and when you get there, absolutely. So really,
that shows you that you're serious about your stuff. Go ahead and really spending on that other stuff.
At the very least, a DBA, because when you're starting out, like the finances be all over the place. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But at the very protect yourself, because it's the young people. We hear it all the time with artists. Val, like. Yeah, well, you both know. Like, I had this record, and now I hear it over here.
Oh, it's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
that part of the game is super cold.
This is my shit.
Or you didn't wrote on a record, and the record blow up, and you didn't do your paperwork, and now you don't get the writer's credit. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The song blow up. I mean, we done heard countless stories, even in 2021, about artists that haven't really, because they, especially if you in those rooms or whatever. Like, if I'm at the studio, right? I'm at, one of the, I go to, well, I ain't going to say where I go. I was about to say the studio I go to. Actually, I'm not going to say that because I don't want y'all to hear. But if I'm at, I don't know, Paramount or whatever, the different, like, big studios or whatever, and somebody super big in there, like, oh, we just, come in here, whatever, vibe with us. You just happy to be in the room.
Yep, and you giving up all your creativeness.
And it happens so quick. You're not thinking, okay, me just vibing with them this one day is going to be the record that... But you gotta have your ducks in a row. You have to have your business in order. That's why if you need somebody to come with you to handle your lightweight while you in there creating, you pull somebody else you have your people put them to the side and be like, oh, who do I talk to about, the points and the, we need to make sure that she get her woo. And if they don't respect that, they gonna respect you for that. You know what I'm saying? People will respect you if they know that they can't just, do whatever they want to do.
You hear stories about some artists who are just honest up front. Like, nah, they was shit. They wanted me to have my splits, my points, my whoop-de-whoop.
Right.
Like, you have some. Then you got the others. And I really hate that they make manipulation and scandalous shit a part of the game. Yeah. Like, why? I would never understand. Why does it have to be a part of the game?
And they make it very known, like, this is a part of the game.
Says the fuck who?
Yeah.
Like, a bunch of scammers.
Like, this is the music industry. This is...
It's the show business.
It's a show business. It's a music business.
Like, so this comes with it.
This comes with the territory. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
People still know you'll get your ass whooped, right?
Right.
Like, that still exists. People will still beat your ass. Like, I don't know why people feel like that left or went anywhere. Like,
that's why I'm always confused.
Do all that shitty stuff if you want to. Like, that's not going to end well.
Protect yourself.
In all situations, that's not going to fare well.
Protect yourself and pivot. And I was so upset about the Speak Sis thing. My bro was like, you think like an artist, not a CEO. I was like, whatever that mean. But I knew what it meant. And I was like, I never tell somebody I don't like a record. Because if you knew what it takes to like where this record came from, the inspiration behind it, which you have to pull from to pin that shit. And niggas like, that shit trash. Nigga, I'm talking about fucking mom and my upbringing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
this is my real story and shit. Right, this is my real life, man.
This is my life.
This is my life, yes.
For me, it was like me realizing, like, damn, I really don't have a voice in this space, and wanting to create a space, and thinking like, how many other people feel the same way at some point? Because in that moment, it was just an outlet for me to say everything I didn't get a chance to say. Truthfully, that's what that was.
Why are we all yawning out here? What is going on now? If we was talking about hot boxing,
it's the wine.
Well, I yawn just a little. We mamas and
it's the wine.
College students and full time.
It's the wine.
Y'all understand? Right. Mine was real discreet.
It's been a long day. I'm sorry, y'all.
I didn't even notice.
Mine was real discreet. But protect your stuff, guys. Any other tidbits and stuff? Let us know if y'all want us to talk about any specific topics. Things that y'all want to
tell us.
Why? You can tell us if it's stuff they want to talk about.
So what do you guys want us to know? I'd be like, running low, huh? That's my take.
I'm just saying, I do that all the time on my YouTube.
Well, YouTube is different.
Well, we on YouTube?
No, we got some. We just post there.
Feedback. Oh my God, no, we're not.
We just post feedback.
This is
not a YouTube channel,
right? It's YouTube.
Well, I was just trying to get y'all involved.
I'm gonna just quickly. So some of the viewers, and shout out to y'all for following us. I'm gonna just throw a couple things out there that they do want to hear us talking about.
See?
How long should you wait before you introduce your kids to your new man? Things you wish you knew before having kids. Why does the average person run drugs / alcohol to help cope with depression or anxiety?
Damn.
They got nigga deep with us. Those are just a few. Let me see if there's any more.
Because those are cheap, accessible outlets. That's why.
Well, yeah. Well,
that's it.
Those are. I need you not to wrap up their whole thing in like 2 seconds and give them like.
It's accessible. That's why it's a great. It's a cheap distraction.
It's the easier route. Well, y'all.
Yeah, but protect your shit at the end of the day.
Tap.
Protect your intellectual property. Protect your spiritual property. Protect your mind, your heart, your environment. You know, keep your energy and everything clean, just so that you can feel your best mentally and physically, and you can be sharp enough to be able to interface in whatever industry that you're in. Absolutely. Because every industry is gonna come with a level of sharks. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're a lawyer or whatever, an MC.
If you feel by yourself, you don't have nobody to talk to, you can inbox us. Like, we're here. We support other women that's experiencing some type of level of anxiety or just feel like they don't have nobody. Like, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like, we get it. We get it.
Yeah.
Don't feel by yourself and don't suffer in silence. That's the two things you don't want to do.
Is this episode 20?
No, 21.
Oh, we already did episode 20. Oh, we should have did maybe 25.
Maybe 20.
Maybe 25 we'll go ahead and do something.
Anywho, we don't know.
Thank y'all for watching.
We don't know. Shout out to y'all for tapping in with us every week. We really appreciate y'all. Again, the Trio Pod _. Mookie actually changed her IG name. It's at Hey Mookie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I gotta put that on my on the description box. Okay, Hey Mookie, I'm gonna change my name.
That's Fallon since the beginning of time.
Because it was like, girl, you're not giving nothing to LA, so let it go. It was a part of the pivot. It was a part of the pivot, so it's Hey Mookie across all socials. I just don't know what I'm gonna do with Hey Mookie.
That's right.
I've been as I am Chrissy B for a long time.
Long time.
And I'm going to keep it a long time.
When I first got on socials, it was like, I'm going to highlight everything black in LA. We were going to all the black spots.
Girl, what black
spots?
But
then, gentrification.
Yeah, exactly.
Then the penny came and they left. And we're just like, hey, Mookie, we don't know what that entails.
They're going to bring the bounce back. Okay, sorry, y'all. We gone. Peace.